All right, welcome back to Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. Doing some planing today, as you can see. Cranking out some nice 2x10, 2x4, and 2x9, which are my ceiling joists. But that's not what I want to talk to you today about. I want to just give a quick talk about my DeWalt planer. The other day, I guess it's been in the past week, I come out here, set my planer up, turned it on, and nothing. Click the switch. I haven't got my generator running, so that's why it's not running. And there was nothing. I checked the cords. I checked the switches. I took it over to my friend's house, and he had, all the equipment to check if there was any voltage coming through it. All the switches, the reset button, everything was working, but the DeWalt planer just would not start. So frustration set in. I mean, it's definitely planed its fair share of lumber. And I called the company. They gave me a label to send it back for repairs. Said it would take weeks. I said, well, how long is my planer going to be down? They said, oh, it'll be down weeks. And so, my thinking is that means I've got to go buy a new planer because I don't have weeks to be down. Matter of fact, I actually went to Lowe's, picked up another one, and just FYI, if you're doing a lot of work with these, it may be worth getting the extended warranty on it. When I bought it, I thought I had gotten it, but apparently I didn't. And so, that still doesn't solve the problem if it's out of your possession for weeks, but at least the cost won't be there. So anyway, I picked up the new one, and I was just going to use the new box to put the old one in and to ship it back. And went back to my house, set it on the porch, and was just getting ready to open up the new one. And I just thought, I'm going to try that one more time. So I plugged it in, clicked on the switch, nothing. And I reached down and I picked up the corner of the planer, and I just, about ½ inch, and I just let it drop on the deck, and that thing took off. And I thought, well, that's good, but it's not good in the fact that there's obviously something loose in there. Turned it off, turned it back on, it worked. So I took my new one back, returned it. After I used my old planer for a day, I kept it in my truck, the new one in my truck, for about a day. It worked the next day fine. So I took took the new one back. Then after about 3 or 4 days of using it, the planer started doing the same thing. You turn it off and it wouldn't turn on. So, I'd reach over and I would just kind of give it a tap here, and not hard, but give it a tap and it would come on. Well, the taps had to start to have to get a little harder, and I was like, well, I'm concerned. I don't want to hurt this machine. And so finally it just stopped. It wouldn't run at all. And so I knew whatever was wrong with it was probably beyond me. So I went back to Lowe's, went to get the new one that I had returned. The pros weren't in that night. It was in the evening, so lady told me to come back in the morning and get it then to get a discount. So I came back, or I took this back home in the back of my truck, and as I was driving home, something told me, check the brushes. And I thought, the brushes? Goodness. So I come home, and I just should have had this out. I'll come over and get it. I took the top off, Took the top off of that machine, and there's a set of brushes, or there's a brush that's, you have to take the top off in order to get at it. It's on the motor, because the motor's on the front of these. So after taking this top off, right in the side of the motor, there's a set of brushes, or a brush. So I took that out, looked at it, stretched it, you know, the spring a little bit, put it back in, turned it on, nothing. Then I realized, well, there's another one over here. They come in pairs. So this one, it's not that hard to do. You just turn that little tab. That comes right off. And right down in there is another brush. So I took that one out. Give that a little bit of a stretch and put that back in. Put it back in, switch the switch on, the way it went. That is why when I was tunking this side, it was coming on, because the brushes were worn. Now, here's the old set of brushes. They should be about 5/8 of an inch long, this part right here. In all that planing that I had done, I had worn out a set of brushes on this machine. Now, I just went on Amazon, ordered a new set, about $10 to $12. They came in a couple days. In the meanwhile, you know, I had stretched these springs a bit to give them a little more contact, and I'd used it for the next 2 days. But when I put in those new brushes, thing worked fine. So just an FYI to you, those out there who are using their DeWalt planer a lot. Now, you may already knew this. This may be nothing new to you. You may be smarter than me in that regard, and that wouldn't take much when it comes to anything electronic or electric. But just FYI, if you've got intermittent, if the machine won't turn on, or if you're tapping it and it'll come on, and it's like it's something's loose in there, check the brushes, especially if you're using it a lot. It saved me $800, because I was thinking, well, there's something loose in the motor. I've got to go and get that. You know, I'm going to have it replaced and repaired. I'll have 2 planers. I'll have to sell one when I'm done. That was my thinking. But it was something just as simple as those brushes. And so, not a long video today, but just a, you know, kind of an FYI for those of you who are DeWalt planer operators. I'm assuming it's pretty much the same for other planers as well. You know, something like that can really throw a monkey wrench into your production. So this has been a workhorse. There's no question about it. I love this planer. It's very easy to use, very easy to change the blades. Only thing I've had, other than the changing the brushes on it, one of the bolts that holds the there's, I think it's 7 or 8 screws that hold the blades on. One of the tops of those started to strip a bit, and I ordered a new set just to have on hand. But other than that, that planer has worked wonderfully. It's well worth the money, and I'm not, you know, being endorsed by DeWalt or anything like that, but when I see a good product and that product is working for me, and trust me, I've used it a lot, this is well worth the money. At Lowe's, so you can get this for about $699, $700, right around there. So anyway, till next time, as always, you have a great day, and the summer, I know, is not a time when a lot of people are watching videos, and for those who are watching, I really appreciate it. And if you haven't, please like and subscribe, especially in the subscription. That helps the algorithm. So anyway, till next time, you have a great day.